Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are so glad that you are here. My name is Rebecca Stewart, and it is my pleasure to be your MC. This is the 7th annual now, Celebrating Wonder Woman. It is our benefit for the Malta House of Care Mobile Medical Clinic. So thank you all for being here, for supporting this incredible event. Thank you. Now, Malta, I very well know, is a place that is near and dear to all of our hearts, and we are all here for that reason. We are here because we believe in this mission, saving lives, changing lives, and that is what happens in that big van that visits 4 different neighborhoods each and every week. Now this, as you well know, is a safety net. This is here for the many who are still without insurance, and they truly have nowhere else to turn. But you are there. We are there, saving lives, changing lives. And we do have an inspiring program, inspiring women here. Now to get things started, I'm very happy to introduce Michelle Murphy, our Executive Director of the Malta House of Care Foundation. Welcome.
Thank you so much for coming tonight to honor our 8 amazing Wonder Women and to support the Malta House of Care Mobile Medical Clinic. I am thrilled and humbled to be standing before you tonight. Perhaps like many of you, I first heard about Malta when I came to this event several years ago with a friend. I left that night inspired and reassured that though it may seem otherwise sometimes, there really is more good than bad in this world. People like our Wonder Women and places like the Malta House of Care. As we get started, I want to take a moment to recognize my predecessor, Bobby Bartuka, for her 8.5 years of passionate and effective leadership. Bobby, please stand so we may recognize you and thank you. I wish you a very good up with the idea for this event, Wonder Women, back in 2011. Since then, we have honored 48 wonderful women, some of whom are here tonight. Would you please stand so we can honor you again? If we can see who you are. Wonder Women from the class of 2011 is Philomena Soyster, a private client advisor at U.S. Trust and a passionate community volunteer. Philomena has been with our Malta team for almost 10 years now and serves as president of the Malta House of Care Foundation. On behalf of our board chair, Peter Kelly, and the rest of our board, Philomena will now share a few words about Malta House and our future. Philomena?
Thank you. Well, I'm just delighted to be here with you tonight, mainly to salute these extraordinary Wonder Women here with me on the stage, and to share 1 minute's worth of fast facts about the Malta House of Care, which is, as you know, a nonprofit. We provide some unique and vital services. The care of these services actually began in 2004 when a few doers, people who are doers, like the folks on the stage, like you in the audience, decided to act and to help those folks who had no access to primary health care. These doers were the members of the Order of Malta. Their purpose was and is to serve the sick and the poor. They did some homework. They introduced a mobile medical clinic to deliver high quality and very compassionate primary health care services, recruiting volunteer doctors, volunteer nurses, and borrowing a van from St. Francis Hospital to get started. Shout out to St. Francis Hospital here. There were 3 criteria for care then, and there are now. You have to be simply over 18 years of age, live in Connecticut, and have absolutely no insurance of any kind. With these criteria, you are entitled to free services, primary health care services, and the Malta House of Care van. In the first year, we provided 477 free patient visits. That was 2004. In 2016, we provided 4,600 patient visits. Today, we are running at a rate of 100 patient visits per week in the greater city of Hartford. So Malta House of Care now has 4 sites, about 40 volunteer doctors and nurses and medical professionals. These individuals donate $1.6 million of in-kind services a year to this mobile medical clinic and to our community. I want to thank you all. I'm sure we have tonight volunteer doctors, nurses, and medical and non-medical professionals who work at the Malta House of Care. Would you please stand so we can recognize you? As I pass the baton back to Michelle Murphy tonight, I thank each of you for coming, for joining us, for buying tickets, for supporting Malta House of Care, and for doing your part to help change patient lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Philomena. This seems a perfect time to recognize the small but mighty staff who work at our clinic. Please stand as I introduce you. Our tireless medical director, Dr. Teresa Caputo. Our clinical nurse supervisor, Marianne DeTore. Our bilingual medical assistants, Vanessa Hernandez, Emily Cora, and Yoida Santana. Our part-time business manager, Linda Moore. And the newest members of our medical staff, part-time APRN, Lauren Slomkowski, and full-time health coach, Ann Pinero, APRN. I wanted to mention something in particular about Ann, who is the newest member of our team. As a health coach, her job is to meet with our chronically ill patients to help them understand their conditions and to create a realistic plan for achieving small steps to improving their better health. Ann started at Malta exactly a month ago, funded by a very generous grant from the Barringer Ingelheim Cares Foundation. That company is so excited about this new program at Malta, they announced it in Times Square 2 weeks ago. We are thrilled to have Ann as well. And now I invite Rebecca Stewart back to the lectern to begin the reason we are all here tonight.
That is why we are here tonight. So we have a very special evening in store for all of us. We have a very special introduction, though, before we get to our amazing women. We have another Wonder Woman from the class of 2016. Now, Kisa Whitaker is a middle school teacher from New Haven. She is an author, a true advocate, and she is also the founder of Ballet Haven, a dance training program for middle school girls. Now, illness, if you were here last year, we had a little video, but it is not the same thing. So last year, she was not able to be here, and she has joined us this year, and she definitely, we want to make sure that she gets a chance to say a few words. So we are thrilled to have Kisa Whitaker.
They asked me to say a brief word about what I would say to my younger self. Even though I have really good skin, thanks to my grandmother, Rachel, I am 38 years old. I am terminally ill with an autoimmune disease. And as I was thinking about this, I thought, today is my husband's birthday, and I've been thinking about the gift of life. And there is so much I would say to myself as a young person. But what I would say more than anything is to hold everything with open hands. I think as I'm going through chemo yet again for the progression of my rapidly failing lungs and my GI system and things that are falling apart in my body, I think of the importance of holding things with open hands, yet with gentleness and with compassion. It's the thing that I try to pass on to my dancers who are a part of Ballet Haven. It is the thing that I try to do as I think about how I want to live my life, and when the time comes, how I want to end my life as well. These are not easy things to talk about, but I talk about them with a sense of ease right now because I would not like to fall apart on the stage in front of you. But there are also things that are a part of my everyday life. I think it is really important to put death in our day planner, to put it as a part of what we think about, because it will be a part of every one of our lives. For me, unfortunately, by no fault of my own, I didn't smoke anything, I didn't do anything, I'm from the Bible Belt, and I was a good girl. I did all the right things the whole time. And yet, I still got sick. And I was left thinking, so what now? And in 2011, I had the opportunity, I will use the word opportunity because I'm mature enough now to say opportunity after a really bad heartbreak and some really bad news from the doctor. After continuing to get sick and sick and sick and sick, because this has been a 15-year journey of being sicker and sicker, I decided, okay, what will I leave in the world? And to do that, you have to be able to do it with open hands. Being able to do it knowing that what you leave, you will leave in the hands of someone that you have to trust. And that's where I find myself now, with Ballet Haven. With 6 years in, I have classes of dancers who are empowered, going on to engineering school, going on to art school, going on to be women who know how to speak up for themselves, for their mental and physical well-being. And that is a powerful thing. In the neighborhood of Fairhaven, where people said nothing good comes from there. And I said, I don't believe that. Just because you are poor or brown or black, that does not mean that you can't speak up for yourself. So I would say to my younger self, Kisa, keep fighting. That good stuff that your grandmother and your mother put into you, it's worth something. Keep going. And I would encourage all of you to do the same. I hope that you enjoy your evening and have a beautiful night.
So we are going to switch gears a little bit, and we have an amazing array of really talented, spectacular women. That is why we are here tonight. We are here to celebrate you. So I do want you to sort of take a moment and bask in the glory of these lights, because you have earned it, and we are so glad to be with you. Keep basking. We love it. We are going to begin right now. We have a very special program. I do want to point out, and I mentioned this last year as well, these contributions have drawn praise from Governor Daniel Malloy, Attorney General George Jepsen, each of whom have issued proclamations for all of you. So a huge congratulations. We will be sharing that with you after our program. Now, I do want to make sure that you know in your hands, so take a look at your booklets, because you do have a complete bio for each of these amazing women. I can't get into everything and not have you here till 7 in the morning. So I am going to say a few brief words about all of our amazing women, and then we're going to ask some similar questions, but we want to make sure that you know there's much more than even I can say about these amazing women, and that is in your program. So do take a moment and read it. If not tonight, save it, because these are amazing, remarkable women, and we're so fortunate to have them. We begin our evening with Carolyn Kahn. Now, Carolyn, you probably have heard, she is our music director of the Hartford Symphony Orchestra. You have seen her in action, hailed as one of the most exciting and innovative conductors of her generation. Well said. She's widely recognized as a true maestra of extraordinary versatility, the first woman to be awarded the Herbert von Karajan Conducting Fellowship, and that was in Austria. Now, your commitment to contemporary music has defined your approach to programming. It's garnered international attention for our Hartford Symphony, internationally now as well. Your list of engagements include the Hong Kong Philharmonic, the Royal Danish Ballet, the Toronto Symphony Orchestra, and the West Australian Symphony, and that's just naming a sampling. So we want to know, as your group, as you look back on all of these amazing accomplishments, is there one thing that you feel you're most proud of?
No, I think, it's hard to say, right? I would say it's really a toss-up between my work with the conservation photographer Franz Lanting and his work of just bringing more awareness of, environment and conservation. And to me, music is actually inner conservation. So I think it's between that and really becoming the music director at Hartford Symphony, being able to serve this community, because ultimately it's about making a difference. And to be able to be in this community, sharing music with all of you, and just trying to make a difference in Hartford is really what's important.
Okay, thank you. Our next honoree, a remarkable woman who has dedicated so much of your life to social good, to social justice. All of that in her second career, where you've been a catalyst for change in the lives of women and girls in our region and beyond, working with the Aurora Foundation. Now, Aurora is a true resource. Its goal is quite simple: to unlock the potential of women and girls, helping them, helping their communities. And she really sponsored the creation, spearheaded, of the Aurora Report. This is a comprehensive analysis of the economic status of women and girls right here in Greater Hartford. And this report is truly the go-to reference still on this topic. So what we would like to know from you, if you were to look back, is there one thing that you would do differently?
Like most people, I think there are probably a lot of things I would do differently in my life. One that comes quickly to mind is that when I moved back to Hartford from Boston, I sold my Back Bay, Boston apartment in 1985, a huge mistake, because I've always said that I either wanted to make a lot of money or find a way to develop a lot of philanthropy, and had I only kept that apartment, I could have been a lot more philanthropic.
That wise words. I think about that about my father's beach cottage. Now, on to our next guest, Rupa Moda. Now, you could say that attorney and activist Rupa Moda does not let grass grow under her feet. 8 months, just 8 months after she graduated from UConn Law School, that was in 2014, she founded her own law firm, Rupa Moda Law and PR. And this focuses on the areas of immigration, intellectual property, entertainment, media. So since high school, she's really devoted her considerable organizational and social media talents to a wide array of different causes, especially those that, of course, support women and girls. Last year, you were chosen as a delegate to the White House's inaugural Women's Summit, which celebrated female achievers from all around the country. And you are someone who will truly help inspire the next generation of women as passionate agents of change. We are relying on you.
Thank you.
So I'm not going to ask what you would ask your younger self, because I think you're still there. But I'd love to know from you, so what is one thing that you too would do differently?
So I think that we can all start to do philanthropic work as early as possible. So for me, I started doing it even when I was in school. If I could help one of my classmates, if I could help one person in my street, anybody. So I would say start early, begin early, help anyone you can. We often think that we should help more people at the same time, but even if you can change one person's life, I think that goes a long way. So for me, I would tell myself, start earlier, do even more. I don't think any of us can be satisfied with what we've done. There's still so much more work to be done. There's so many more lives to impact and change. And that's why an event like this that brings us all together is so important, because we can all build on each other. We can all join forces and moving forward. As I say, if you have a hand, each individual finger is not as strong. Put it together, you have a fist. And that's what I see with all of us today. Together, we're going to be stronger. And that's what I would tell myself going back. If I did anything differently, start even earlier.
That's great advice. Our next honoree, Helen Flanagan, 98. It was fabulous. Well done. You have taught them well. Helen is a well-known and much beloved figure in our dance community here and truly across the country. For more than 87 years, she has been dancing her way into people's hearts. In fact, during the Great Depression, she charged other kids 5 cents to learn how to tap. And it was her way of contributing to her family that needed it. Now, in its heyday, Miss Helen's Dance Studio welcomed 800 students each and every week. And you truly became a teacher of teachers, traveling to different dance conventions. Now, you know a thing or two about surviving challenges. She was widowed in 1959, lost her home to a fire, fought cancer twice, survived a heart attack, and continues now, at 98, to teach each and every week. You've touched but as you look back and you consider these many, many accomplishments, what are you most proud of?
Well, outside of my son and daughter and the children, grandchildren, I'm proud of the fact that I think I have helped many, many shy children overcome their shyness, and I think something like that is a gift because it will last throughout their lifetime. And if you have children or grandchildren, let them dance. It builds confidence, it gives them grace and poise and joy. The joy I've had through my dance all these years is just overflowing. And so I wish that for all of you. If you can be as happy with your work as I have been in mine, you'll be very, very happy. Thank you.
Now, she is an ESPN news editor, and you can certainly lay claim to many, many, many firsts. An award-winning journalist who built a 43-year career on skill and tenacity, and you can imagine it was not easy to be a woman covering sports back in the day. In 1984, after the San Diego Padres lost to the Chicago Cubs, it was the opening game of the National League Championships. She was barred from the Padres locker room, but she got that interview anyway. The Padres' first baseman left the clubhouse to speak with her, remarking that she had a job to do and he was going to help her. The very next day, the commissioner ruled that all teams must provide equal access to locker rooms. Big deal on this. Nominated twice for a Pulitzer. She is a 3-time recipient of the New York Times Publishers Awards, was named Sports Journalist of the Year by the National Association of Black Journalists in 1997. And this July in Cooperstown, she will receive the J.G. Taylor Spink Award, highest honor given by the Baseball Writers Association. The 68th person to receive this award, but only the first woman. What would you tell your younger self, that journalist who's just starting out, a woman amongst all these sports writers?
I would tell my younger self, you should have paid more attention to the bow in the back of your mother and your mother's mother, your father's mother, because for every strong man in your family, there was a strong woman. I spent the first part of my life feeling really invisible. And I think, looking back on my generation, there were so many little black girls who felt invisible in life. And now I go to college campuses and I see these vibrant, wonderful, young African American girls, girls of color, all colors, ethnic backgrounds, doesn't matter, but they are so confident. And I'd like to think, wow, what could you have done if you had the confidence at your younger age that you took on with every door slammed in your face. As you got older and older, you got more persnickety and just, I'm not taking it anymore, but I had to grow into that. If I knew then what I know now, I think it would have been a lot more helpful. So if I could come back at a younger age, I'd come back as Rupa.
Lee Newman of Bloomfield. Attorney Lee Newman is a quiet problem solver, applying remarkable intelligence and reliable common sense to get the job done for clients and for the greater Hartford Jewish community. Now, for more than 15 years, Lee has been actively involved in the local Jewish community, always concerned about giving back and making the world a better place for all of us. As board chair of the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford. But another really interesting thing to know about Lee is that she is a crossword puzzle expert, competing annually since 1997 in the American Crossword Puzzle Tournament. Now, she regularly finishes in the top 10 to 15% and has twice been the top problem solver here in Connecticut. And believe it or not, every Sunday, she finishes that New York Times crossword in 15 minutes. So we would love to know, of all of your accomplishments, what are you most proud of when you look back and you see what you've done?
I don't think I've done anything by myself. I think I have been blessed in my professional life, in my volunteer life, to work with wonderful teams of people. So I would say the contributions that I'm proudest of are what I've done in the Jewish community here in Hartford. I've been, as you said, I've been involved for about 10 or 15 years and in leadership for the last 10. We have transformed Hartford into a really innovative Jewish community, providing for the Jews here, providing a way for Jews to live their values of repairing the world, of social justice, of charity. And I've been able to combine, frankly, my legal training and my crossword puzzle solving skills to challenge my colleagues to not accept the status quo, to look at new ways to solve the problems that we're facing, to make our community better for not just the Jewish community, but the whole Hartford community, because we are of one. And I'm particularly proud to be sitting here as chair of the board of the Jewish Community Foundation, and extra proud of that because it's a position that my dad held 20 years ago, so I am so proud to follow in his footsteps. And if I may, I'd also like to wish him a very happy 85th birthday.
Now, you are originally from Cuba, and you show us that retirement means different things to different people. Estella made her career in higher education, working in different schools all across the country before becoming Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs for the Connecticut State University System. When you semi-retired, you became a part-time senior associate with Excelencia in Education, a Washington, D.C. based nonprofit that works to improve success for Latinos in higher education. But you never stopped, never ever. You had interim positions and they kept you very busy. You've written 6 books. You've won a number of different awards, including the Connecticut Hispanic Bar Association Achievement Award and the Latina Citizen of the Year Award. So you have so many accomplishments. Is there one thing when you look back on all of that that you might do differently?
You know, I could confess my many sins and my many mistakes here, but I don't think I'm going to do that tonight. To be very honest, the many mistakes that I've made, I would not really say to you that I repent, because each one of them was a lesson. And the fact that I learned from them, they made me who I am today. It was learning from making errors. It was acknowledging that I needed to be different and do things differently, that I needed to face that things had not worked out the way I thought they would or they should, and that I needed to be humble and move forward. So each one of those mistakes is like a pearl. It's like a wisdom that was given to me and enabled me to be a better person and perhaps have more wisdom.
Excellent.
And last but certainly not least, with Gina Cronin, founding president of the Connecticut Women's Hall of Fame in 1993, while working at the same time as the managing director of the Connecticut Forum. Gina realized that there was something pretty big missing. There was no organization or venue that collectively celebrated something like this. The many achievements of the many, many Connecticut women who had truly made groundbreaking contributions locally, nationally, internationally. So Gina and her team set about changing that, and it was May of 1994 that she established the Connecticut Women's Hall of Fame. Since then, 115 women representing 8 different disciplines have been inducted. If you haven't seen this website, it is remarkable. Take the time. Today, Gina remains on the board of trustees. So as you look back, we would love to know, what advice would you give your younger self if you were talking to her on the phone?
I would give my younger self the same advice we should be giving to all girls. There isn't anything you can't do. Your body is yours and yours alone, as are your choices of reproduction, sexuality, careers, wardrobe, athletics. I would tell them that hard work is essential to success, to be kind to others, to be patient with yourself, and don't give up. There will be a woman president.
Amazing Wonder Women. I just want to take one more moment. Please give them one more round of applause. They do remind us that there is a little Wonder Woman in all of us. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you so much, Wonder Women, for sharing so much of yourselves this evening. It was clear that each of you thought a lot about this honor and spent some time reflecting on what it meant not only to you, but what it might mean to our audience and to others who read about it. So thank you very much for participating in that way. And Rebecca, afterward, we have a small token of appreciation to you, to thank you again for serving as MC and for caring so much about the Malta House of Care. Before I say goodnight, I must extend appreciation to the many foundations, corporations, hospitals, institutions like the Archdiocese of Hartford, and thousands of individual donors who provide consistent operating support to Malta House of Care. We could never fulfill our mission to serve our patients without these wonderful neighbors and friends. I also want to acknowledge tonight's sponsors, those people who stepped up to be sponsors of Wonder Women and who have helped to make this evening so successful. Our founding sponsor, Cigna, has supported Wonder Women since the beginning, since 2011, and also provides general operating support throughout the year. Our media sponsor, the Hartford Current, thank you, Cigna. The Hartford Current, which is our media sponsor, provided the ads to promote this event. Our supporting sponsors are Carla's Pasta, Hoffman Auto, and U.S. Securities Associates. I'm sure you love the pasta that was served tonight. That was donated by Carla's. I'm sure you noticed the beautiful autos outside. Those are from Hoffman Auto, and Jeffrey Hoffman and his family are such generous benefactors, not only to us at Malta, but as you must know, to so many organizations throughout Greater Hartford. And U.S. Security Associates donates to us someone very important, the driver of our van. And he also serves as our security guard. So we are very grateful to U.S. Security. Other supporting sponsors include the Kelly, Jarvis, and Gastingay families. Thank you very much. For the past 11 years, we have partnered with St. Francis Hospital and Hartford Hospital, and we truly could not achieve our mission without them. St. Francis provides many things: volunteer doctors and nurses, radiology services, electronic medical record systems, and so much more. Thank you very much to Chris Dadles, to Dr. John Rodas, and to all those at St. Francis Hospital who help us achieve our mission of care. And similarly, our friends at Hartford Hospital provide crucial mammography services to our patients, as well as volunteer doctors and nurses of their own. And our neighbor here on Asylum Hill, the Hartford, has been very consistently generous with operating support, recognizing that our site here on Asylum Hill provides critical services to the neighbors who live right around all of us. And as you can see from the lists of patrons, supporter sponsors, and underwriting sponsors, we are really blessed with an amazing array of people and organizations who believe in our mission. Last, but most certainly not least, I must thank the non-medical volunteers on our Wonder Woman Planning Committee. The beautiful evening you have enjoyed tonight is absolutely the result of their hours of behind-the-scenes hard work, and we would never, ever be able to stage this without so many of those volunteers, and I truly grateful for all of that. And finally, our extraordinary staff at the Malta House of Care Foundation: Betsy Walsh, Amanda Young, and Kathy Corvallis, who is an amazing volunteer. Every single day are the people who make the Malta House of Care Foundation hum, and in turn provide support to the Malta House of Care, Inc. Before you head home, please be sure to check the 2 large signs in Ottorino Hall for the winning auction numbers. And there are separate checkout lines for the silent auction and the teacup auction, so your checkout will be quick and smooth. Thank you again for your extraordinary generosity and for loving Malta House of Care as much as we do. Mark your calendars. I hope to see you next year on May 1st, 2018 for the 8th annual Celebrating Wonder Woman. Thank you again.